Spoilers ahead from Season 3 of Guild Wars 2. If you guys haven't played Season 3 or the latest expansion, please do so before watching this video. You have been warned. Chapter 2 is great for many reasons. One of them was I absolutely adore seeing Taimi. She's one of my favorite characters introduced for the new guild. And also there were a lot of callbacks to Guild Wars 1, and while I did play Guild Wars 1 when I was a lot younger and was not really into the lore and I just wanted to play the game, it was still nice to see, and it brought back some memories of playing Guild Wars 1, so that was great. The first episode in and of itself was one of my favorites. It wasn't my favorite episode out of all of them, but it was one of them. I love seeing the game that Taimi threw us into. However, I did find it really easy. I'm not sure if it was because of the fact I made a revenant or something else, but when the monkey appeared, that did wake me up, because I was kind of going through it, just listening to the dialogue, only kind of trying with the destroyers. They're really easy to me now, destroyers. I spend a lot of time running an ore run, and you have to face destroyers in those if you want to go after the one of the ores. That champion is really hard. Anyways, that's the only destroyer I find hard still, is the one that's in the cave guarding the ore in Corteria, and that has nothing to do with this chapter. So the monkey in and of itself woke me up. It really did. I had to actually try and find my placement of my footing and remember to dodge roll when the monkey came at me. And of course, since I play a revenant, I am pure melee, so it was very interesting to see how I had to keep dodging and just kiting it around and hitting it when I had the chance. It took a little while. If I had been ranged, it might have taken a little bit less time, but it was still easy to get that achievement because I wasn't even downed by the monkey. So if you guys found it hard, please tell me, because I have yet to go back and play it in another class. It could be just the fact that I main a heavy armor class, granted a very easily killed heavy armor class if you don't rotate the heals correctly, but a heavy armor class nonetheless. Destroying destroyers. Well, now, I was just complaining about how easy episode 1 was with Taimi's game and the old destroyers. These ones were so great to see, I cannot tell you. I loved how the story made it so that it also explained why Mordremoth was able to use death magic, which wasn't really very well explained in Heart of Thorns, but now it is, and we also see Zaitan's plus Mordremoth's power coming through in the new destroyers. So Primordus's minions got a huge boost, and now they are a lot more difficult. I was so happy to see that, especially after how easy the first episode was. I was like, is this gonna be another Zaitan where it's a walk in the park to get through? I really hope not. And no, it wasn't. It was just so great to see it, and I love the new minions. But the highlight of this is not the minions for this chapter. This chapter's highlight was actually having to run a repeatable heart. I know that sounds so weird when I say that that was my favorite part of this chapter, but I liked seeing that the heart was repeatable. I liked seeing the new rewards. I even liked just seeing hearts returning. It was so cool to see. One word. Dwarf! The best part of this episode was just meeting the stone dwarf. Now, the fact we could take his thumb was both funny and a little unsettling in the same moment. While I understand he is no longer flesh and blood, he was at one point. Still, just seeing and getting to meet a dwarf again made the entire episode, and was a shock since I hadn't actually spoiled myself on the story by this point. Actually, I didn't spoil myself on the story at all through all of this. It was just, I loved the dwarfs in the original Guild Wars series. I was so sad when they had to sacrifice themselves for Primordus by turning their entire race to stone, and I just loved meeting a dwarf again. It was probably one of the largest highlights of this entire chapter. Dwarf! The next episode, Trip to the Circus, was just an interesting chapter. And by interesting, I mean it was interesting to see a circus on the Fire Islands. Random circus! Yay! Outside of this, it was fairly easy in the fact that it just was a very quick chapter. You went from point A to point B to point C and activated the machine and you were all good. It did skip the heart, which was a little bit of a disappointment to me. I had, at this point, told myself I wouldn't explore until after the story was completed, so as not to get sidetracked as I did in Chapter 1. Yeah, I got really sidetracked there. I explored almost the entire part in Chapter 1 without going back to the story, and I decided I wouldn't do that this time. So this meant I had to wait until after I finished the story to go and complete that heart. However, I did understand how it would be appealing to not have to do every single heart on the island to continue on with the story, and thus it did make sense as to why they would choose we skipped it here, especially given with the story at the circus, it made perfect sense to skip the heart. So it was understandable. I was a little disappointed just because I really wanted to do the heart then. I was like, another heart, let's go do it! And we had to skip it because of my decision to not explore until after the story. So sad. It was my fault there, though, not the story's. Machine in the Flame. I wonder, first off, if these machines will ever come back in the expansion dealing with Primordius. It would be nice to see, especially considering we have spent the previous 2 episodes on one, learning about the machines and why they need to activate it, then activating the first machine using the Dwarf's thumb, which is still very creepy. And then the other episode, we literally just went to the circus. They told us the whereabouts after we kind of blackmailed them. And then we ran up to that machine and activated it again with the Dwarf's thumb. So I wonder, are these machines going to come back? This is the 3rd one we've had to come and activate. Though with this chapter, it was really nice to see that instead of just running up to it and placing the Dwarf's thumb on the machine to activate it, still creepy, that we got to actually find the pieces of the shattered machine and then rebuild it. Okay, made for a great change of pace there. It was just like, are we gonna just run up to another machine and activate it? Like we did with the circus after blackmailing them. Nope, it was just, we gotta run up to it after we found all the pieces. Such a nice change of pace there. Mirsad Stuff. Yes! It was so cool to see more of the Mirsad return in this episode. Old foes, old ghosts. It was also nicely implemented how we had to speak with the ghost captain to find a way to the last machine, which was within an old Mirsad building. It was just really nice to see this and how we had to run around gathering the disguise of these old pieces of Mirsad armor that would help make us look like a Mirsad so that we could enter the building and not get killed and one-shotted, because I did actually run up to it first to see if I actually needed the armor, and I got one-shot. That hurt a lot. Anyways, it was really nice to see. I loved having to run around and gather the armor, and the fact that when I put on the armor, I kind of looked like a Mirsad. Kind of. I was really short and I wasn't hovering off the ground and my backpack vanished, but I kind of still looked like a Mirsad. Maybe that was enough to fool them? I don't know. I mean, here I am, this little tiny male Savari, who's one of the shortest male Savari that you can get, in this Mirsad costume with my missing Mirsad backpack, because as you can see in the background video, I do have a Mirsad backpack on. And I'm not hovering, I'm not doing anything that is normally associated with the Mirsad, and I managed to trick them. Yeah, I have no idea how that works. The chapter was still great. I loved the callback to Guild Wars 1, and even if I wasn't always following the story from Guild Wars 1, it was still a really nice callback to it. I loved just everything to do with it, even though I still find it funny that this short little shrimpy Sylvari male could somehow passes a Mirsad. I would love to see this explained a little bit further than, oh yeah, you just put on the Mirsad armor, you're automatically seen as Mirsad by everything. But wouldn't that also work if I put on the Mirsad outfit from the TP? I mean, come on. What's going on here? What's the difference between the TP armor and the armor I'm wearing? Please explain. Anyways, as I said, I still loved this chapter. It was a really great chapter. Loved the callback to Guild Wars 1. Now, I know I've said I have had a lot of favorite episodes in this chapter. I loved the Dwarf episode. I obviously really liked the episode with the Mirsad, even without the giant loophole of how we were fooling the construct into thinking we were a Mirsad. But the final episode, Dragon Vigil, this episode was just great. I loved everything about it, especially given the fact I did struggle with it quite a lot. I died a lot with it. Yeah, I will admit I was running around clueless for the vast majority of it. It was just like, what am I supposed to be doing? Why is the shield going down? I've killed all of them, and then I turn around and there's more behind me where a stone has flown in and is slowly burning down the shield. And it's just like, holy cow, no. Did I actually fail it? No. The guard never died, so there is that. But I died at least, I think, 3 or 4 times. I mean, completely died. I was downstated, and then I died. And I loved seeing the contrast here with how much more difficult I found this episode compared to the first episode, where I found the first episode way too easy, and this one I found a lot more difficult. It was a great thing to see. I loved it so much, even though I was getting annoyed at the fact I kept dying and I had to make all these armor repairs at the end. But that was also just me. I didn't understand what was going on in the chapter, so I didn't get that achievement. And then just the entire chapter and the callback to Glint's egg, the Mirsad appearing to help us. I loved it. I just loved it. Granted, at one point during the chapter when the Mirsad first appeared, I was trying to kill the Mirsad, not the destroyers. Because it was just like, oh god, Mirsad! Oh god, Mirsad! So, yes, okay. That was a little bit my fault there, so we're not going to go further into that. But my favorite part of this chapter was just everything to do with Glint's egg. And the lead into the next chapter, chapter 3, at the end of this chapter, is so wonderfully done. And it was just a great overall chapter and episode. So I just loved Glint's egg and how we finally got the payoff of Glint's egg from the teaser at the end of Heart of Thorns to this chapter. It was even teased way back in chapter 1 with how Tammy says the egg chamber had lit up on her map there. It was just so great to see it finally pay off. Fire Islands. Well, I will be the first to admit I spent most of my time exploring this new map by trying and epically failing at the new jumping puzzle. I didn't get more than halfway through before I had to actually drop it and go do something else that wasn't video game related, and then I didn't get back to the jumping puzzle at all, so I actually have yet to complete that jumping puzzle, which is kind of funny considering how much I love jumping puzzles. But I did enjoy the map, and after the jumping puzzle, when I finally came back to the map and started exploring it, I managed to do all the hearts. I got both of the mastery points that are on the map. I think there's only 2 on the map, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the map in and of itself. It was so nice. It was a very beautiful map, and I absolutely adored seeing the comeback to hearts. Now, the hearts being repeatable, I both love and kind of don't like at the same time. I am someone who really enjoys map completion. I think I have 4 tunes, maybe 5 tunes that I've gone through and map completed, because I do a lot of legendary crafting. I don't have every legendary, but I do enjoy legendary crafting, so I very rarely have stuff in my inventory anymore. My wallet is very bare. Anyways, I love the fact that they are repeatable because it makes a nice karma grind. However, what I do miss, and am probably going to miss, is if I ever stop legendary hunting and crafting and want one of the minis and go and grind out for one of those minis all the karma that I need, I'm going to have to repeat the heart to be able to get that mini, because you can't talk to the vendor until you have the heart completed. However, this is not entirely a bad thing. It makes a lot of sense and it makes it a lot more satisfying than what I do generally do with the hearts in the old core Tyria, where I take one of my tunes that has map completion instead of going on my main to actually complete the heart, and just go over to the heart and buy what I need with the tune that has the map completion. So, yeah, it makes it a little bit more satisfying. It really does. And just the fact that the hearts reset is nice to see. I love the fact that it does that, even though I just did say that it also makes it annoying at the same instance. It would depend on my mood that day. Overall, the map's absolutely gorgeous. I enjoyed every second I spent on the map. I ran a couple of the events. It was nice to see, even though I took a very long time to get to this. I mean, Chapter 3 had been out for a little while by the time I actually ran the story. A lot of people were still there running the events. It was still a very populated map. I just had a blast on this map. It was a very nice addition, no matter how small it is.